Hey guys, so I am swamped with cosplay right now, and I thought, why not share with you guys some of the basic things that you need to sew your own cosplay since they're all out. I thought it would be really helpful, especially if you're just starting out and kind of like, I took a sewing class in high school and that showed me what I needed to buy because she gives you like a shopping list, but if this is like your first time, you don't always know what to get, so bear with me, this video might be a little long, and like I said, I'm swamped, that's why I'm still in my PJs. Anyways, I'm just going to go through all the materials that you need to start out with or that you should have on hand. If you are starting to sew, it is optional, so I'm just going to show you what I keep on hand. So first thing you'll need, obviously you're going to need like just basic sewing needles. No matter what, you're going to have to hand sew. People think that you can do everything by machine, but you can't. Obviously you know that if you've sewed before. There's a lot of stuff involved in the sewing process, especially if you want an invisible hem. I think some machines can do that, but mine can't. So always keep a bunch of spare needles on hand because your needles can break or you can lose them, which sucks because you might step on it. Also keep extra sewing machine needles. So I bought this little pack. My lighting's really bright. Of just like plain sewing needles from a sewing machine because my machine came with like 3 and I guess I broke them all. Guess you shouldn't sew leather. Always keep extra needles all the time. You can also have like one of these things. These are like sewing needle threaders, and like you stick it through the needle, put the thread through, and then you pull it out and the needle's threaded. Instead of having to like thumb through and like stick it in there. I have a lot of these, but I never use them. I always just put it in, but if you like those, definitely buy a lot because they break all the time. Also, definitely get not a tomato, but like a pin cushion with a bunch of pins. Buy a few boxes of pins because these get lost, they break, and they bend so easily. And I cannot tell you how many pins like I go through. They make different shapes, I think, right? Then there's this little strawberry on the side. It's filled with sand. I don't know if many of you guys know this, but it's like a sharpener for like your pins. So you just like do this. I don't know if you can hear that. And then sharpens your pin. If you ever like are super bored and you actually want to sharpen your, I don't know who sits there and like sharpens their pins. Also important are scissors. I have like a ton of fabric scissors from my great grandma. She passed on, and anyways, we have a lot of fabric scissors. Small ones, big ones. A tip to keep your fabric scissors sharp is don't cut paper or anything else with them. Get a separate pair of scissors for that. Another thing you can get for cutting is this rotary cutter. It's like a pizza cutter for fabric. I've used this once. Honestly, I think that my thing is dull actually. I should get a new one. It's dangerous. It's kind of scary. So like obviously don't put your fingers under it, and if you have small children, they have a lock. So I don't know if you can see this like little thing right here. That's unlocked. You push it and then it's locked and will come out. If you're gonna buy these, you're gonna need a mat like this one. Rotary cutting mat. It also works for razor blades too if you have an X-Acto knife like a box cutter. You also want to get a straight edge because it's really easy to curve a line, so get a straight edge and cut it up against that. Also to cut things you want to keep a knife. This is my regular knife. It's just it's got a straight edge and a straight edge, and I actually bought it at an anime convention, but this thing comes in so much handy. You need a zipper presser foot. They look like this. This is so shiny. Pretty self-explanatory how you use it. It just sits right up against the zipper. You have to choose what side of zipper like you need it to be on, so it's got 2 places for the presser foot to cling onto on your sewing machine. If you don't know how to use this, YouTube it. Your sewing machine manual, if it came with your sewing machine, should teach you how to do it. I also have invisible zipper presser foots. I just use this, it works just fine. Bobbins, lots of bobbins on hand. Always use bobbins. That's pretty self-explanatory too. You're going to need to use a lot of colors, so keep these. Safety pins, you always need safety pins. Tape measures. Tape measures are really annoying because I have like 50 of them. Every kit you get has a tape measure. Keep a real ruler on hand too. Also, speaking of rulers, you might want a protractor. You can get a fancy protractor like this one with a little arm on it, or you can get one like this that's just really cheap. You're gonna need a seam gauge. I had no idea what the hell this thing was when I first bought it. I was like, why do I need this? What does it do? What does this thing do? It's got the slider. I use it for pleats. Basically, you'll pull it down, say I want it to be like an inch seam. That is a huge freaking hem. You put the fabric underneath it, fold it over till it hits this little marker, and then you like fold it back. And then it creates like a pleat with it, so it's kind of like a marker to mark your pleats. Oh, I don't know why I explained this earlier, but you need seam ripper. You can buy these in all shapes and sizes too. Instead of having to go through scissors, you just take this thing and... Oh, and thimbles. Keep a thimble. I prick myself all the time, and I don't use thimbles. My aunt gave me a bunch of these ones from my grandma. My great-grandma who used to sew. I don't know if you can see, they're like, let's see, look at the little tiny peaky ones. They're pure silver, so they're kind of like tarnished. This one's my favorite. Just porcelain thimble. But yeah, you can definitely collect, like, it's got a horse. That pony. Don't bleed on your projects. That's gross. I think I pretty much covered everything. I'm going to be doing a bunch of other cosplay tutorials, so stay tuned. Some wig tutorials. I don't do wigs too often, but bang cutting and detangling and things like that. And I'm also going to show you guys what is in my cosplay bag, because every cosplayer needs to bring certain things to a convention to help them out. So thanks guys for being patient and watching all this. If you haven't already, please like me on Facebook and subscribe to this channel, especially if you like all the cosplay stuff, because there will be a lot more coming up. Also, I go back to school in a few weeks, so videos will kind of stop, or they'll just be more like talking vloggy videos or even makeup. But anyways, that's it. So thanks everybody. I appreciate your time, and I will see you in my next video. So everybody, happy cosplaying. Seriously, I hope this helps. Bye.